Every culture creates rituals. Some are loud and public, like processions, ceremonies, and celebrations. Others are quiet, whispered prayers, lit candles, coffee cups left out for somebody who's gone. You don't necessarily need a specific religion to practice a ritual. Every time you repeat something with intention, you are practicing a ritual. You're shaping that energy and you are saying that this matters. Hi boo, it's me, your medium bestie, the Death Fairy, certified tactile, and your spirit guide to the other side. Ding! Today we're going to explore why we as humans create rituals, even when we say we don't believe, like in ghosts, and why sacred acts still matter now even more than ever. So what is a ritual? A ritual is an act that we repeat that has meaning behind it. And it's not about a religion, so get that out of your head. I know, I had that in my head for the longest time. It's about how we make time visible and about how we make those unseen part of ourselves visible again. I see you part. I see you, boo. It can be as simple as lighting a candle when you need clarity, pouring a cup of coffee for your grandmother who is in spirit when you're pouring yourself a cup of coffee, saying I love you to your loved one who's right next to you or in spirit right before you go to bed can be a total ritual. Even checking your phone, the first thing you do when you wake up is a ritual. The last thing you do when you go to sleep, you probably check your phone too. Another ritual. So think about it. What is one thing that you could do repetitively every day that when you do it could add meaning to your life, could add so much more depth and love and warmth if you simply gave it a meaning? Anthropologists say rituals are how humans make sense of chaos, and they appear in every culture across time, from cave paintings to baptisms to mourning songs to birthday candles. The human brain finds safety in rhythm, i.e. in rituals. Rituals lower our anxiety, they help us create some structures, and they soothe our nervous system. More importantly, rituals will help us through transitions, birth, death, grief, joy, change. Without ritual, that grief will stay stuck, and then there's no shape for that feeling to move through. Question: when was the last time that you truly felt peace because you repeated something meaningful? I want to share a few of my own, not because they're the right ones, but only because they remind me of how human we all are, especially myself. When I lost Alice, my baby, during an ectopic pregnancy, I created something called an unbirthday. Now, if you know Alice in Wonderland, you know what an unbirthday party is, but I actually gave it life. So I chose a day that I had my surgery, a day that only her and I can share. And I ate cake and light candles and think of her, where she would be if she were in body right now, how old she would be. At first, it was a way for me to grieve, but later, the more I did it, it just became a way for me to feel her even closer. I know she's in spirit, but just embodying an unbirthday really makes her a lot closer to home, if you know what I mean. It reminds me that she's still around in spirit form. Now that I've become so confident in my mediumship abilities, I don't necessarily have to have an unbirthday party to feel her presence, but it just reminds me so much of her. With the whole Alice theme, having an unbirthday, thinking about the unbirthday song as I'm eating cake and thinking about where she would be right now. What would she look like? How would she be in human form? Really fun things to think about to give her extra life. Not that she needs it, but you know, a little boost. My simplest ritual is one I do every day, and it's got the most scariest word ever. Grounding. Oh my gosh, if you know anything about spirit work or energy work and you hear the word grounding, you just gotta ground, go outside, take off your shoes, walk barefoot, ground. Like, who's going to do that? If you're at your desk all day, or I used to be a flight attendant, I was on a plane all day, I'm not gonna take off my shoes and walk around. Can you ground on an airplane? Yes, you can. But you know, like, grounding, that word used to scare me so much because it felt so hard to do, or so just out of the normal to do. Isn't that strange? So what I had to do is I had to understand what grounding meant for me. And now all I do to ground is I bring my awareness, like my mentality, to this present moment. I think, what am I doing right here, right now? So to ground right now, I would say I am filming a video for YouTube and I'm looking directly into a camera and just saying that. Instant grounding, because I'm telling myself, I'm narrating to myself what I'm doing in this moment. And that really, really helps me to bring awareness to that. My energy is here, right here. And that is so helpful. In a time when I never knew I could do this so easily, it's really funny. It's like, wow, I wish I found this hack earlier. Now, everyone will ground differently. This is how I like to ground. And the trick is you gotta find what works for you if you wanna ground. So another trick, some people can wash their hands with cold water and instantly ground because they're focusing on the cold water touching their hands, and it just brings that physical awareness. Another tip that you could do is eat. When you are physically eating and tasting your food and actually chewing and swallowing and drinking water, all those physical sensations, focus on those. Usually when we're eating, we're like not paying attention to what we're doing. We're looking at our phone. Come on, let's be honest. Like 99% of the time people are eating, looking at their phone, or maybe that 1% talking to someone. So I invite you next time you eat, if you focus on eating, I will guarantee that you'll instantly ground. Also, just eating heavy meals like a burger, or for you vegetarians out there, like something like beans, some kind of protein-rich food will ground you instantly if you focus on it. So you got to do the grounding thing while bringing awareness to it to actually ground. You can't just, like I said, take off your shoes and go walk barefoot. If that's something that's frustrating you, like it used to frustrate me, it's not gonna ground me. So you gotta kind of definitely focus on what you're doing. I also, as an alternate form of ritual, love to keep a space for my loved ones in spirit or for energies that I work with. Like I have little statues of spirit guides or goddesses or something that I really resonate with. And I will always give these altars flowers, give these altars water, or some sort of beverage that I think that they would like for my ancestors, some hard liquor, Coke, some chocolates, things like that, foods, and really just tell them thank you and that I love them. And this is a beautiful time to do your candle work. So if you would like to put a candle there, you can write down intentions or just something you really want to bring into your life as well. I like to do that too because it's surrounded by loved ones. My loved ones in spirit, whether those are spirit guides, goddesses, my actual loved ones in spirit, they're there with me, celebrating with me, protecting me. They can protect my intentions and help grow it. That makes sense. If you want a video on that, let me know. I would love to do candle work videos. I love candles. But going back to this ritual, it's a way of saying, I see you, I remember you, I love you. Those are mine, and you'll have yours, and they'll look differently, maybe some similar. You're welcome to borrow whatever I have shared. The trick is to find what feels good for you. And that's the thing, when you're reading books on energy work or spirit connection work, you're going to find everyone shares what works for them, but that might not necessarily work for you. So the trick is to take lots of ideas and then create your own, knowing how you work, knowing what really lights you up and makes you feel amazing. Use that fuel. Otherwise, these are just gonna fall flat. I'm thinking of pancakes, like bit, 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 bit. You know, you want this to really work for you, using all your energy and intentions to really push this out. Let's be honest, modern life has made us forget about the magic of rituals. We've replaced ceremony with convenience and presence with productivity. We scroll our phone instead of pray, and we move on or block out instead of mourn. How many times have you heard people say, why haven't they gotten over it after a death? Right? Just whispering behind the scenes. I can't believe they're still crying. I can't believe they're still sad. Like, how much judgment is that? A death doesn't go away. It's not like, oh, they died, I'm okay 10 years later. No, you're going to think about them until you die, especially if there's someone important. So if anybody tells you to move on, to stop grieving, to get over it, tell them to shove it, because one, it's none of their business, and two, you can mourn as long as you like. And honestly, you will be mourning as long as you like. My favorite analogy, death is like a scar. The scar, you always see it, it's always gonna be there, and every time you look at it, it's going to remind you of them, and it's gonna hurt but you're going to appreciate it the more and more you sit with it, in a sense, right? You never appreciate death, but you'll feel like, okay, I love them, I miss them, they're still here somehow. You know, like you transform it, transmutes that energy a little bit, but it never gets easier. It's still going to hurt. Connecting with loved ones in spirit will never be like connecting with a physical loved one, because that physical part isn't there. Now, it'll be different, and there's so much more beauty you can get out of energetic connection with them. So that is beautiful and awesome and so helpful, but just it's not going to be the same. When we lose ritual, we lose our rhythm. And when we lose rhythm, we lose the pulse of meaning. The literal pulse. We need the pulse to know that something is physically alive, right? The pulse is what reminds us that we are still here, pulsing. When water stops running still, it goes bad. When our blood stops pulsing, we die. When there is no more pulse, what is the point? We're just empty, hollow skin. I don't know what else. We're just like bleh. And we start to drift. And we disconnect ourselves from others. And we disconnect from nature and from spirit. And we disconnect from our own spirit. Remember, we all have a spirit too. It's connected to us. That's why spirit connection is easy, because our spirit can connect to any spirit. And I teach you how in my Spirit Connection Made Easy group. Link down below. Maybe we've mistaken moving on for forgetting. Maybe ritual isn't about staying stuck in the past. Maybe it's about keeping love alive. So think about it. Where in your life do you feel that disconnection? And what small, repetitive act could bring you back to the center of it? What can add meaning to your life? It can be the smallest thing. Just acknowledging spirit every night, right before bed, or in the morning. Good morning, me. Good morning, my spirit. You can even acknowledge your own spirit. I'm sure that can add so much depth to your life, right? We don't even think about our own spirit. We just think about our body. And we think about our body getting wrinkly and old and sad. And then we're just like, well, what happens after death? Okay, I'm going to go on a tangent. I stop. Ask yourself, what do I want to feel and honor? Maybe it's presence, forgiveness, connection, or love, or all of the above. Now let's add some sensory to it, because we are humans and sensory is important. Add some sweet smells. Add something that you can touch. Add something that you can see, like pictures, and something that you can hear, like sounds, bells, music, anything. Candlelight, incense, music, a photograph, any of these, a combination of these, their favorite perfume, just your senses will anchor in the energy. Trust me. Ritual doesn't have to be grand or performative. One breath with awareness can bring so much power, and it can be just as sacred. Just saying something like, I love you, I miss you, I feel you. And with intention, the intention follows through with the energy, and it really, really strengthens that. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about presence. That repetition is going to build that energy. Just like if you were to do this movement with your hands, I always think of P90X. No, not P90X. Billy, he used to box. Ibo. Repetition builds energy. Remember that. The more you return to it, the stronger it will become. What act could become sacred if you gave it attention? Rituals create a predictable pattern that calms the amygdala, the fear center in our brain. They release dopamine and oxytocin, the chemicals of safety and connection. That's why lighting a candle or praying can physically ease your body. Spiritually, repetition builds resonance. And when you do something with love, you imprint it with frequency. And that's how our ancestors hear us, through the language of rhythm and intention. The science explains the how, the spirit explains the why. And together they remind us that ritual is human technology for healing. Many of us may have grown up being told what is sacred and what is not sacred. Going to church, sacred. Not going to church, not sacred. It's as simple as that. But here's the truth. You get to decide. You don't need a church, a label, or permission to connect to your loved ones in spirit, or to connect to beauty of what ritual connects us to, which is source, God energy. Reclaiming ritual is reclaiming your agency. And you don't have to call it worship, you just call it care. Like self-care. And when you light that candle, you are saying, my love is still alive. And when you pour that cup of coffee for your grandmother in spirit, you are telling them, I love you, I miss you, I'm thinking of you. What's something that your heart has been craving to make sacred again? Think about it. So to recap, start where you are. Choose one small act and give it your full attention. Maybe light a candle, whisper a name, or write a note to your loved one in spirit. And you don't need a special date, just your presence. You can do this now in October, or you can do it in April. It does not matter. Your intention is more than enough to make this amazing. Ritual isn't about summoning something outside of you. It's about remembering what's already within you. Every sacred act you create becomes a bridge between you and spirit, you and your ancestors, you and yourself. What's the one thing you already do that could become sacred if you simply gave it meaning? If this moved you, come join me in my free community, Spirit Connection Made Easy. Link is down below, where we rebuild the art of everyday ritual together. Subscribe for more videos that turn every day into portals for spirit. Because spirit is calling. Will you answer the call? Ding!